Okay, hello, hello. Hopefully this works out now. I'm not sure. Having some technical difficulties today. For some reason. My internet has decided it wants to play games today. Okay, I think that's okay. All right, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay, so I'm not really sure if you guys can see or hear me. Okay, so I'm not really sure if you guys can see or hear me. My internet seems to be a little bit slow today for some reason. We'll have to fix this. Edit. For some reason, this is just lagging, and I don't know why it's lagging. So anyway, I think we have, yeah, I think we have 3 people watching. That's great, at least. So, right. So, does anybody have any questions? Let me start by saying my name is Lola. I am a UK and a US RN. So today is just about a Q&A, answering all your Nurse International questions. For those of you who nurses who are in the process of getting your papers done for migration to the US as nurses, today is your opportunity to ask me any questions that you ask me. Just put my glasses on, guys. I need to be able to see. Okay, so today you can ask me your questions, and I will try my best to answer. Now, I'm not seeing any questions popping up, but I know there's a few of you watching this. Just need to have a look at. Yes, okay, all right. It would have been easier if it worked on the laptop. Fortunately, the laptop seems to be lagging for some reason. And I do apologize for this. Hopefully we can get this sorted out before this 1 hour is up. Okay, it's really slow. All right, so basically we're here for the next, I guess. Here we go. Something's working. Hopefully we can get this sorted. It's working, but it's lagging. Okay, right. So guys, what are your questions? So basically, what are your questions? I can see your questions. Okay, somebody's just asked a question, so that's great. So we know that we're getting the question in. For the of you that are joining, please tell me what sort of nurse you are, where you're from, and then at least then I can cater the answers to your specific area of nursing. Okay, somebody's just asked a question, so that's great. So we know that we're getting the question. Unfortunately, that's lagging behind by God knows. Tell me what sort of nurse you are, where you're from, and then at least then I can cater the answers to your specific area of nursing. So anybody here moving to the United States as a nurse? Unfortunately, that's lagging behind by God knows. So anybody here moving to the United States as a nurse? And let me know where you're going, what state you're going to. Already have a job, let me know. If you are in a process of, I guess, looking for an employer, let me know. Maybe there's something I can suggest to help you. And let me know where you're going, what state you're going to. If you have a job, let me know. If you are in a process of, I guess, looking for an employer, let me know. Maybe there's something I can suggest to help you. If you have any issues with registration, because I know that international nurses do have quite a few issues, especially UK nurses. They do have a few issues with getting registered. Apparently, our education. Registration, because I know that international nurses do have quite a few issues, especially UK nurses. They do have a few issues with getting registered. Apparently, our education is not up to the level of what the US requires. Now, if for any reason you are lacking in hours, so for example, you applied to CGFNS or Joseph Silney, or you applied to ERES and you were told that you were missing hours in pediatrics, or you were missing hours in mental health, or you were missing hours in midwifery, what have you been doing to make up those hours? Maybe I can suggest something to help you out. If you're a newly qualified nurse and you maybe have not finished, or if you're a nurse that's still in school, maybe you have not finished your education, now might be the right time for you to get some of those hours pre-planned. So maybe if you're doing your placements, you request a a mid community where you could do your pediatric hours, where maybe you can follow the health visitors around, or you can request placements in a mental health hospital. That will help you greatly because that will go in your transcript, and obviously those hours will go towards your when you make your application for your international transcript to be done. So those of you who have not yet NCLEX and are struggling, there are a few reviews out there that you can take. I would suggest to anyone that's wanting to do the exam that you take a review. Don't try and study yourself. It's just not possible. If, for example, you failed the exam, don't take it to heart. Don't feel stressed. International pass rate is quite low for the NCLEX exam, just because the pass rate is very, very low for international nurses. So what I would say is go back, reread, and go and attempt to do the exam again. If you have managed to pass your NCLEX exam and you are looking for a job, I would suggest that you look for a direct hire than an agency. With a direct hire, you will find that you have the same benefits as a US nurse. So you have the same benefits as a US RN. With the agency, you might find that your money might be a little bit lower than another nurse that's in exactly the same job as you, but happens to be a US nurse. Furthermore, you're contracted to possibly a 3-year contract, which you're stuck in that role until you finish your contract. Now, for anyone who is unsure on where to start, how to start the process, then you can send a message. I can get you started. Um, you can take the exam as many times as you can pay for the exam. Thank you, Walter, for that question. So each state has their own different rules. There's no limit to the time at the amount of time you can take it. I have heard of someone taking it 22 times, but I give that person, I'd say kudos to the fact that they were determined to keep going until they pass the exam. 22 times is a lot of times and an awful lot of money to spend on an exam. Never mind the fact that she took multiple reviews, but yeah, I have to say the determination to keep going, definitely something to be admired. If you're in the process and you're currently waiting for your green card interview, I know there's been some issues with for a lot of us nurses, including myself, who's still waiting to get a green card interview from USCIS. It's all political, of course, because I do not believe that they have this kind of backlog that's causing us to wait this long when there's an obvious need for nurses in the United States. So hopefully, once the elections are over, we'll see some movements. And in fact, currently there are some movements. I believe they are working on priority dates of 2022, 15th of November. So anyone that's made an application in 2023 or 2024, you may still wait a little bit longer, but thank you, Walter. Still wait a little bit longer, but you will definitely start moving. It will definitely start moving soon, as soon as I mean, we've got about, is it 13 days left to the US elections? And it's been predicted that there will be a massive shift. They'll start getting interviews in for people after the elections. Let's all hope right president gets into the White House, if you all know what I'm saying. One that makes sense, shall I say. One that's for the people and every American, not just those that vote for him. Now, there are stipulation or certain numbers of green cards allocated. So I think those of you who have applications for 2023 will hopefully get a visa. Will hopefully get a visa in this round. We that the retrogression just stops and they have a current on the system very soon. So anyone that is thinking about what state to go to, and is unsure, I would say do your research. Make sure that whatever state that you use, that it's you take into consideration your family, transport, school district, um, also the cost of living of that particular state, because not every state has the same cost of living. Some states are expensive to live, especially a state like California. And I know a lot of nurses do rush to California because obviously the pay rate in California is high for nurses. But you also have to consider that the cost of living is high. Um, you may be looking at I don't know, maybe $7, $8 to buy a loaf of bread in California, which is quite high for a loaf of bread. So all of these things you need to consider, and I think the most important thing to consider is school district, cost of living, where to rent, um, if your neighborhood is safe, because that is the number one most important thing, to find out if the neighborhood is safe, because safety is key, especially when you're leaving your country and you're taking kids to the United States. Some of the things that we about America doesn't always entice people to go there. But I will tell you guys that back in 2013, I lived in the United States for a few years in Atlanta, Georgia. When I was in Atlanta, Georgia, I didn't see none of those issues, or experience, shall I say. I did not experience none of those issues that we see on TV. People getting shot. Nobody ever disturbed me while I was going about my daily activities. What we see on TV does tend to put fear in us, which is not like every state, and it also depends on you where you decide that you want to go and home, or where you want to go and live. So that's why I keep saying, make sure you do your research, because researching these things are really. So if you find that you find a good state that you think that you would want to work, look for the area, look for the community, see what is available in that community, because it's not just about going to the United States to work, it's also about living some kind of a life. That work-life balance you need to have. What will you do when you're not at work? Are there activities for kids? Are there things, social things for you to do? Are there shops? One thing I would say is, anyone who is more of a city like myself, or a city person like myself, you will not do well in a secluded area. You will not do well living in an area where, you know, there's no shops, or you have to drive far to get to a shop. There's no transport. I think if the culture shock as well, it wouldn't work well for you. So I would say it's really important to look at yourself as well, and how you are when your work. What do you like to do? What are your activities? Do you like go to cinema? Do you like cultural activities? You know, are you very heavily involved in a community? If you're involved in a community before you left your country, you want to find a similar situation. Do you go to church? You know, you want an area where you can find shops, churches, that the community is supportive as well. If you're just in an area where I always call it the sticks, because anywhere that's secluded to me is a sticks. But Just won't do very well. So please do your research very well. What's the support network for you? Do you have family? If you have family, that would be great to move closer to family to get that support. Any of you that are coming over, or you have small kids, what's childcare like in that state that you're going to, or in that area that you're going to? Have you done your research about facilities? What are the prices? What you know, how much would you need to pay a month um, to put your child in a nursery or with a childminder? Can you put that on your salary? So those are the things that you need to figure out. Um, remember, you're a foreigner, so you don't have all the benefits that an American have. So you need to pre-plan yourself and make sure that, number one, you've got enough money saved. You have calculated how much deposit you need to pay for your, how much money you need to carry with you, what's going to cost to buy a car, because if you're in an area where transport is not readily available, you need to drive. For anyone that doesn't have a driver's license right now, I would strongly suggest you go and get that sorted out, because it will still take time for you to, I mean, you still have to do the test and stuff, but you know, most states, not all, will give you a 3-month leeway. Some states, but most states will give you a 3-month leeway to allow you to drive on the internal driver's license. If you're unsure of where to live, and you know that the state that you're going to and that you're going to, where your job is located, I strongly also suggest that you make sure that you actually do some research again. You can call up apartment blocks from, you know, if you're in the UK, I've done it before. I've called them up and asked them their prices. I've asked for a virtual video call so the properties. I've asked them how much, what deposit I need to put down so I can get myself prepared before I leave the UK. And they are willing to do that for you. Remember, this is business for them. So pre-planning yourself is really important. Just don't go there and not plan yourself, because that's when people struggle. And I'll be honest with you, the first time I went to the United States, back in 2013, I struggled because I did not pre-plan myself. And this is why I am telling you guys this now. Pre-plan yourself is really important. Now, for anyone who is still still going through the process, as I said, going back to the struggling with the hours, I think most nurses from Philippines and Africa don't seem to have the issues that the UK nurses have. We UK nurses, for some reason, I said, our education doesn't follow the American education. It doesn't mean that we are less of a nurse or less of nurses. It's just that the program that we have here in the UK is different. So there may be some lacking hours, but my understanding from some of the nurses that I've spoken to, they have actually said they have applied for states like New York and gotten through. Some of them have gotten through in New York. Some have gotten through with Texas. My license is in Texas. I am sorting out the Florida one now. I just didn't want to do the whole application so early in the day, and then for I've applied, but I have to make the payments. But I realized that if I make the payments and they don't call me for my interview, it means I have to renew the license again. So I kind of held back and waited. But like I said, the easiest state for anyone that's struggling will be New York, Texas, and I know a few ladies that have managed to go to Montana and got through with Montana as UK nurses. So it is worth keep trying. I know people do struggle with CGFNS. C has been one of the most difficult people that I've actually had the pleasure of working with. And when I was doing my process, CGFNS actually gave me a hard time because, like yourself and those of you that are struggling with those hours, I had the same issues. I think what helped me a great deal was just making sure that I spoke to the person in charge of my case, and that's how I managed to convince the lady that I had done those hours, even though it wasn't written on my transcript. I had done those hours. Is unfortunately, UK universities don't seem to be doing the transcripts properly, so it's likely that you have actually got the hours in. It's just not indicated in your transcript. I know that I went back multiple times to try and get my university to redo my transcript, just put it in a format that the Americans recognize. And I must have gone back about 3 times before they finally got it right. So please do not give up, because it's worth doing. Do not give up. Universities can be quite difficult sometimes. So make sure that you keep hammering in on them, because it is your right to get your transcript done, and it is your right to get it done properly. It is your right for them to put those hours that you've done in the 3 years of education. And if for any reason that the hours does not indicate in your transcript, please ask the university for a prospectus, because that prospectus that you had in a year that you attended indicate what was inside the curriculum, the program that you studied, and that will help you a great deal. For anyone who has any questions, issues, you can contact me on Instagram. You can send me a message on Instagram and I can try and answer all your questions. If you are struggling to find an employer, again, send me questions on Instagram. I can make some suggestions for you. Now, what's the time? Okay, so if, let's see, if anyone doesn't have any questions, because I feel like I've talked way much. If anyone doesn't have any questions, I will start wrapping this up. And so thank you guys for watching. Again, feel free to contact me on Instagram, and also I will be putting content out on my YouTube channel. As I said, my YouTube channel will be dipping into things apart from nursing, but I'm still available for you to ask your questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer the questions for you. So thank you all for watching this live, and hope to see you on another live very, very soon. Do like, share, subscribe, show some love. That's the only way we can grow our channel. And yeah, stay safe and in your future endeavors with working as nurses in the United States. Take care, guys. Bye bye.